Hello everybody, my name is Yolanda Cueva Calle. I am a student of Business Administration at Instituto Superior Tecnológico Mejía in Mejía, Ecuador. Today I'm going to present a master class called English Grammar from Basic Structures to Verb Tenses. Learning English is an important part of our personal, academic and professional development. Grammar gives us the basic rules that help us organize words and communicate our ideas correctly. In this class, I am going to explain the important topics of English grammar. We will begin with basic structures and gradually move to different verb tenses. The topics are the verb to be, personal pronouns and possessive, adjectives and adverbs, the simple present, the present continuous, the simple past, the past continuous, the future with will and going to, the present perfect, and finally some useful expressions for everyday communication. I will explain each topic with simple examples so that we can understand how these grammatical structures work in real situations. So let's go. Verb to be. The first topic is the verb to be. The verb to be is one of the most important and basic verbs in the English language. It is used very frequently in every communication. The verb to be can have different meanings depending on a context. It can mean ser or estar in Spanish. In the present tense, the verb to be has three forms: am, is, and are. We use am with the pronoun I. For example, I am a student, I am from Ecuador, I am happy today. We use with he and she and it. For example, he is a teacher, she is my friend, it is a beautiful day, and we use are with you, we, and they. For example, you are very kind, we are students, they are from Ecuador. We can also the verb to be to talk about professions, nationalities, age, feelings, and locations. For example, we can say, I am an administrator, she is Ecuadorian, he is 25 years old, we are at school. In negative sentence, we sample as not. For example, I am not tired, she is not angry, they are not at home. To form questions, we put the verb before the subject. Are you a student? Is she your teacher? Other example is, are they ready? Therefore, learning the verb to be is essential because it is the foundation for many other English structures. The second topic is personal pronouns and possessive adjectives. Personal pronouns are words that we use instead of people's names or nouns. They help us about repeating the same words and in a sentence. The main personal pronouns in English are I, you, he, she, it, we, you, and they. I refers to the person who is speaking. You refers to the person or people we are talking to. He is used for male person and she is used for female person. It is generally used of objects, animals, or things. We means two or more people including the speaker, and they refers to two or more people or things. For example, I am Yolanda, she is my friend, he is my brother, we are students, they are teachers. We also have possessive adjectives. They show possessions and relationships. They are my, your, his, her, its, our, and their. For example, this is my book. That is your computer. His name is Carlos. Her name is Maria. Our teacher is very professional. Their house is beautiful. It is important to remember that possessive adjectives normally come before a noun. For example, we say my car, your house, her name, and their family. These words are very useful because they allow us to describe relationships of objects and people clearly. The third topic is adjectives and adverbs. Adjectives are words that describe or give information about a person, place, animal, or thing. Some common adjectives in English are beautiful, intelligent, happy, sad, big, small, interesting, difficult, easy, and friendly. For example, she is intelligent, he is friendly, the house is big, English is interesting. One important characteristic of English is that adjectives normally come before nouns when we describe a noun directly. For example, a beautiful woman, a big house, an interesting book, a difficult exam. Adverbs are different because they usually describe how an action happens. Some common adverbs are slowly, quickly, careful, and quickly. For example, we can say, she speaks slowly, he works carefully, they learn quickly. We can see the difference in these two examples. She is a careful worker. Here, careful is an adjective because it describes the work. The work's careful with careful is an adverb because it describes how she works. Therefore, adjectives describe nouns while adverbs usually describe verbs, adjectives, or other adverbs. The simple present. The fourth topic in this class is the simple present tense. The simple present tense is one of the most commonly used verbs tense in English. We use mainly to talk about routines, habits, general facts, repeated actions, and permanent situations. For example, we can say, I study business administration, I work every day, I drink coffee in the morning, we live in Ecuador. When we use he, she, or it, the verb usually changes. In most cases, we add the letter S. For example, we can say, I work, she works, I study English, he studies English. There are some spelling rules, but the most important thing is to remember the third person singular. They make negative sentences we use don't or doesn't. That's the contraction to this form. For example, we can say, I don't work on Sunday. They don't study at night. She doesn't work on Saturday. For questions, we use do or does. And the beginning. For example, we can say, do you speak English? Do they live here? Does she work in Quito? The simple present is very important because we use it to describe our daily lives and regular activities. The next topic is the simple past. We use the simple past to talk about actions or situations that started and finished in the past. We often use expressions such as yesterday, last week, last year, 2 days ago, or in 2020. With regular verbs, we normally add the letters E and D. If, for example, work, worked, play, played, visit, visited, watch, watched. We can say, I worked yesterday, She visited her family last week. They watched a movie last night. Wherever English also many irregular verbs. These verbs they don't follow the regular ed rule. For example, we can go. The past tense will be went, eat, ate, see, saw, buy, bought, have, had. For example, we can say, I went to Quito yesterday. She ate breakfast at 7 o'clock. He bought a new computer. For questions, we use did. For example, did you study yesterday? Did she work last week? In negative sentence, we use did not or didn't. More easy, didn't, followed by the base form of the verb. I didn't study yesterday. She didn't work last Saturday. Past continuous. The seventh topic is the past continuous. The past continuous describes an action that was happening at a specific moment in the past. The structure is subject plus was or were plus verb ending in ing. We use was with I, she, and it. We use were with you, we, and they. For example, we can say, I was studying at 8 o'clock. She was working yesterday morning. He was sleeping. They were watching a movie. We were having dinner. The past continuous is especially useful when one action has happened and another action occurred during the time. For example, we can say, I was studying with my mother calling me. In these sentences, was studying is the action that was in progress, and called is the shorter action that happened during it. Another example is, they were having dinner when the phone rang. These sentences allows us to give more information about what was happening at a particular moment in the past. The future, will and going to. The eighth topic is the future tense. In English, we are several ways to talk about future actions. Two very common forms are will and be going to. We commonly use will for predictions, promise, offers, and decisions made at the moment of speaking. For example, we can say, I will help you. I will come you tomorrow. I think I will rain. I will study harder next semester. On the other hand, we use going to mainly for plans, intentions, and things we have already decided to. The structure is the next. Subject plus am, is, or are, plus going to, plus base verb. For example, we can say, I am going to study today. She is going to travel next week. They are going to have a meeting tomorrow. We can compare the two forms. I will help you. This can be a decision made at the moment. For example, I'm going to study tonight. This indicates a plan of or intention. Both forms are important because they allow us to talk about our plans, predictions of future actions. The present perfect. The ninth topic is the present perfect. The present perfect is an important tense because it connects the past with the present. The basic structure is subject plus have or has plus past participle. We have with I, you, we, and they. And we use has with she, he, and it. For example, we can say, I have studied English for 2 years. We have finished our worker. She has visited in Ecuador. He has worked here for 5 years. The present perfect can be used to talk about experiences. For example, I have visited Cuenca. It can also describe an action that started in the past and continues until the present. The action finish. For example, I have studied English for 2 years. Some common words used with the present perfect are already, yet, ever, never, since, or and for. For example, we can say, I am never traveled to the United States. She has already finished her homework. They have lived here for 10 years. These sentences or this tense is very useful for talking about life experiences and situations that have a connection with the present. The next topic is useful expressions, and we will do a final review about these topics. I would like to talk about some useful expressions in English. These expressions are important because grammar is not only about rules. English is also a language used to communicate in every situation. We will meet some. We can say hello, good morning, nice to meet you, how are you? When we want to be polite or more formal, we can use please, thank you, you're welcome, excuse me, I'm sorry. If we need help for clarification, we can say, can you help me please? Could you repeat please? I don't understand. Could you speak more slowly please? How do you say this in English? These expressions are very useful for students because they help us communicate with confidence every when our English is not perfect, like me. General truths and facts. The next topic is zero conditional. The zero conditional is used to talk about general truths, facts, habits, roles, and situations that are always normally true. We use this conditional when one situation produces an unpredictable result. The basic structure is if plus simple present. For example, we can say, if you heat water, it boils. This means that when water reaches a certain temperature, it boils. It is a general fact. Another example is if it rains, the ground gets wet. The result is something that normally happens when the condition occurs. We can also say, if I drink too much coffee, I feel nervous. In this case, we are talking about a person, habit, or a situation that normally happens. Another important point in that we can change the order of the two parts of the sentences. We can say, if you eat ice, it melts, or ice melts if you eat it. The meaning is basically the same. We can also use when instead of if when are talking about something that is general true. For example, when you mix blue and yellow, you get green. The zero conditional is straightforward, useful for explaining scientific facts, rules, routines, and general truths. The most important thing to remember is that we use the simple present in both parts of a sentence. We go with the second conditional, imaginary or unlikely situations. The next topic is the second conditional. The second conditional is used to talk about imaginary, hypothetical situations in the present or future. We use it when we imagine a situation and think about the possible results. The basic structure is if plus simple past would plus base verb. For example, we can say if I have more money, I will travel around the world. This sentence describes an imaginary situation. I am saying that if I had money, traveling around the world would be my choice. Another example, if I had more free time, I would learn another language. The situation is not necessarily real, it is something I am imagining. We can also the second conditional to give advice. For example, we can say, if I were you, I would study more. This is a very common expression in English. It meaning that I am imagining myself in another person's situation and giving advice. Another example is, if she lived closer, she could visit us more often. Or, if we had a bigger house, we would have more space. One important characteristic of the second conditional is the use of could and the result of these sentences. We normally don't use could immediately after if. We say, if I more time, I could study English. No, we can say, if I would have more time. The second conditional is especially used when talking about dreams, possibilities, hypothetical situations, and advice. The structure, I repeat, if plus past simple would plus the verb. The third conditional, past situation that cannot be changed. This topic is the third conditional. The third conditional is a more advanced conditional structure. We use it to talk about imaginary situations in the past. It is normally used when we imagine a different results from sometime that already happened. In other words, we are talking about something that didn't happen, and we imagine what the result could be having. The basic structure is if plus past perfect could have plus past participle. For example, we can say, if I had studied more, I would have passed the exam. This means that I did not study enough, and as a result, I didn't pass the exam. We imagine a different past. Another example is, if she left early, she would have arrived on time. The real situation is that she didn't leave early enough, so she arrived late. Another example is, if they had studied English, they could have passed the test. It is similar to the first example. Again, we are imagining a different result from a past situation. The third conditional is overused to express regret, criticism, missed opportunities of hypothetical past situations. For example, we can say, if I knew about the problem, I could have helped you. That means that I didn't know about the problem, so I didn't help. We can use the contractions in every English. For example, we have, if I had now, I could be helping you. The important thing to remember in this third conditional refers to the past, and the situation cannot be changed because it already happened. So the structure is if plus past perfect, will have plus past participle. For example, we can say, if I had a student, I would have passed. This is one of the most advanced conditional structures we can use in everyday English. I repeat the structure. The structure is if plus past perfect would have plus past participle. And another important topic in English is WH questions. WH questions are questions that begin with specific question words. They are used when we need more information and they are very common in every conversation. The most common WH words are what, where, when, who, why, which, and whose. We also commonly use how, although this does not begin with the letters W and H. Let's look at H1. What is used to ask about things or information? For example, what is your name? What do you do? What are you studying? Where is used to ask about places or locations. For example, we can question, where are you from? Where do you live? Where did you go yesterday? The next word is when. Is used to ask about time of days. For example, we can say, when is your birthday? When do you go to work? When did you start English? The next word is who. This word is used to ask about people. For example, we can say, who is the teacher? Who is that woman? Who did mean yesterday? Why is used to ask about reasons. For example, why are you studying English? Why did she leave early? We can usually answer the question with using because. For example, the correctly answer will be, why do you study English? The answer, because English is important for my professional future. Excuse me. Which. The next word is which. It's used when we are choosing between specific options. For example, which color do you prefer? Which book do you want? Which language do you speak? Whose is used to ask who sometimes belongs to. For example, whose book is this? Whose car is that? We can answer it is my book or it is a young car. Finally, we have how, which is the used in many different expressions. For example, we have how are you, how old are you, for the age, how much is this, how many students are there, how often do you study English, how long have you lived. The structure or WH questions can change depending on the verb tense. With the verb to be, we can say, where are you from? With the simple present, we normally use that, do or does. Where do you live? What does she do? With the simple past, we use did. For example, where did you go yesterday? And the present continuous, we use the verb to be followed by ing form. For example, what are you doing? Therefore, WH questions are essential because they allow us to ask for specific information and communicate more effectively in English. For example, I have a chord structure, a little structure. For example, what we use for things and information. Example, what is your name? Where we use for places. For example, where do you live? The when word we use for time. When is your birthday? the WH question who is for people. Example, who is she? The next word is why. We can use this word for reasons. The example is why are you here? The answer for this word is because. Every time. The question word which we use for choice. Which one do you prefer? Whose we use for possessions. Whose book is this? How we use for manner quantity. For example, how are you? WH questions are one of the most useful tools in English because communication begins with asking questions and understanding answers. The next topic in these presentations is an important type of question in English, is the yes or no questions. These questions are called yes or no questions because they usually require a short answer such as yes or no. Unlike WH questions, these questions don't normally ask for specific information. Instead, they ask if sometime is true or false, or if a person agrees or disagrees with a statement. The structure of a yes or no questions depends on the verb tense we are using. Let's begin with the verb to be. With the verb to be, we put am, is, or are before the subject. For example, we can say, are you a student? The answer, yes, I am. Is she your friend? Yes, she is. Are they from Ecuador? No, they aren't. We can also use the simple present. In the simple present, we normally use do or does and the beginning of the question. For example, do you speak English? The answer, yes, I do. Do you work here? No, they don't. With he, she, and they, we use does. For example, we can say, does the student English? Yes, she does. Does he live in Quito? No, no, he doesn't. It is important to remember that when you does, the main verb goes back to its base form. For example, we say, does she work here? Not. Does she works here? We can also form yes or no questions in the past, simple past. In this case, we use did. For example, did you study yesterday? The answer, yes, I did. Did she go to school? No, she didn't. Again, after did, we use the base form of the verb. We can also form questions in the past continuous. In this case, we use am, is, or are, followed by the subject and the verb ending ing. For example, we can say, are you studying English? Yes, I am. Is she working now? No, she isn't. In the future, with will, we put will before the subject. For example, I can say, will you study tomorrow? Yes, I will. Will they come to the meeting? No, they won't. We can also use going to. For example, are you going to travel next week? Yes, I am. Therefore, the main idea is that auxiliary verb on the verb to be comes before the subject we form an yes or no question. These questions are very common every day in English because they allow us to confirm information quickly and clearly. Today I have not only talked about English grammar, I have shared knowledge preparation and a part of myself like a student who continues learning every day. I know that speaking in front of others is not always easy, but today I proved to myself that I can do it. I prepared, I learned, I explained it, and the most importantly, I trusted myself. Every topic we studied in this video, from conditionals to questions, reminds us that English is not just about rules. So I've there in the whole like you to remember from this class is this. Don't be afraid to making mistakes. Every mistake is a part of learning, and every attempt makes you better. Today I can probably say I did my best, I shared it, I know and I improved the work I have done. Thank you very much for your attention, your time, and for being part of this master class. This is not the end of learning English. This is just another step toward becoming better every day. Thank you, and remember, believe in yourself, keep learning, and never stop trying. Thank you.